Judge Todd, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today after what's, I imagine, has been a pretty stressful week.
Yes.
As we look back over the past week or so, how are you feeling now? I mean, just processing day by day, what's it been like?
It's been chaos. Started out on Saturday morning early, Friday night late. When the tornado hit, it's been chaos ever since. But it's settling down some now. A lot of damage in the county, so I feel good about it. We've responded well throughout the county. Had good response with all our first responders. Couldn't say anything better about them. They've been marvelous, and the community has really came together.
What would you say the community needs most right now?
We need, actually we're really blessed on supplies needs. We've got lots of volunteers, but we can always use more. We have lots of cleanup to do. Debris removal is the big part now. We're past the needs part of taking care of individual homeowners and all that. Still needing some of that. Salvation Army's been here, Red Cross is here. We've got many out-of-town crews come in to help us. So right now we're well blessed in the Pulaski County.
I'm curious if you've heard any of the different survivor stories that are coming out day after day. What do you really make of those? How do they sort of stand out to you?
Yeah, it's really amazing the stories I've heard. I've always wondered how they would come out of these houses. From what we've seen, these homes have completely been wiped out, and 7 or 8 people in a home, and they walked out with not a scratch on them. Just a miracle, to say the least. It's amazing that what we've heard. Some sections of the house in homes that were still standing, some sections of the house, the roof blew off, and they would have a checkerboard sitting in the living room. Checkers still right there like they were playing before the storm hit. Nothing was even moved, but the house, it just exploded, and they just walked out. Nothing, no injuries. We were just very lucky to only have 1 fatality in the county so far. So some minor injuries, but nothing major. And we probably had over 300 homes damaged and destroyed. A lot of, probably near 50 to 60 homes destroyed, but no fatalities, just the 1 fatality. It's amazing.
What was that night like for you?
It was a busy night. It started at just before 11 o'clock. Got the first call that we had a touchdown in western Pulaski County, and all our first responders started calling, and I got the call to come out at about 11. We showed up and established a command center south of town on South 27. That was the big response, shut down Highway 27, and it was a busy night. I was up about 42 hours in a row to get, didn't feel comfortable going home, afraid I would be called upon and needed to be certain places. So it was a long night and a long next day, but it was chaos, but we had great response.
You shared you've been in this role for about 2.5 years, right?
Yes, sir.
How would you say that this week has challenged you as a leader?
It has been a challenge. We had been working on emergency management for some time. The county had never had a full-time emergency management director, and that's one of the first things I did is put one in, and then we had to change to a new emergency management director, but he's been on staff about 5 months now, doing a tremendous job, and it was just in time. He answered the call, had our EOC center set up, so we were in business really quick within the first hour after the storm hit. So we were blessed to have him and his team together.
Are there any just takeaways, from that, preparation that's going to, lend to how y'all respond to future?
Yes, we will. When this thing is cleared up, we're going to have a roundtable discussion and go back and see where we failed, where we needed to make improvements. But so far for our first big event, because we were always planning for an event that we hope never happens, but it did happen to us, so we felt like we were prepared at the time, but we'll go back and have a big discussion when we get a little more calmer atmosphere and see where we can improve, because we can always improve, but we've been really blessed in Pulaski County with our first responders, all the way from dispatch to our volunteer fire departments to everyone that responded. We've been blessed.
You've shared just the number of homes that were touched in some way by this tragedy. I mean, what kind of timeline are y'all really looking at when it comes to trying to get back to some sense of normalcy for
Well,
these folks?
we're hoping within the next week that things will calm down. It's already calmed down a lot. We've got all the people that were displaced from their home in shelters or in their homes. They've taken up with the neighbors, friends, family. So they're confident they're going to be okay. I don't know if everyone is out of the shock of what they've lost. Pulaski County citizens are really resilient to disaster. I mean, everybody helps each other, and everybody has really stepped up their game. I went out on Saturday morning to start visiting these disaster zones, asking people, do they need any help? And they just say, no, we've got it. We can handle it. And they're standing in what's left of their former house or their former home, and they say they don't need any help. But they've opened up somewhat and started receiving help and being thankful for it.
I mean, this is your home. Has that has that impressed you? I mean, what does it feel like?
It has really impressed me how the community has turned out. The tornado hit western Pulaski County right on the Russell County, Pulaski County line and came across. It stayed on the ground all the way across Pulaski County, and we started getting the calls on the western side. It actually passed through our farm where I live, and we lost a couple of barns. Within 300 yards of my house is where it hit. And then the community I went from my home to our farm just behind my home, and there was a subdivision close by. We already had people in the street. Less than 45 minutes after the storm passed, we had volunteers out there pushing stuff out of the road, clearing it so EMS could get through. So it's really been impressive the way people have came together. It's amazing, to say the least.
Is there any resources that the state or federal government are able to provide, or that you would like to request of them?
We will be requesting much more from them later. So far, the state showed up here. We've met many times with state emergency management. FEMA's in town today. They've been here for 3 or 4 days doing assessments. So I think we're on the right track. I know it's going to be a slow-moving parts to putting everything together, because we've had tremendous damage throughout the county. As I was said previously, this tornado was on the ground all the way across Pulaski County, and we've suffered tremendous damage. Our road crew's been out from the first hour it happened trying to clear roads. We had to clear roads, a lot of county roads. We have the most county road miles in the state of Kentucky. We have over 1,200 miles of roads, and many of those were blocked because the tornado crossed many of the county roads, and everywhere it crossed, we were blocked. So when we started getting our first calls for ambulance service, emergency services, we had to clear the roads, and it was the first thing we had to do. So we've had some long days.
You know, given how much the landscape changes whenever these kinds of events happen, I've covered a few storms before, and it's tough to see a place you knew change.
Mm-hmm.
What's it been like processing that?
We have damage across the county that will be forever a landmark that we'll be able to see. We've got satellite images of this tornado that went across that have ran through a lot of forest area across the fields, and it scorched the ground. It has pulled grass up. Trees are twisted everywhere, and that will never be cleaned up. It'll be always a part of history of Pulaski County. Probably in 20 years from now, we'll still be able to see traces of where this tornado came through. So it's amazing the mileage that it put in. This was on the ground for 56 miles across Pulaski and Laurel County and over a mile wide. So it's a tremendous amount of energy that was on the ground that it's amazing at all the damage, the trees, the debris, the barns. As I said, we've lost over 400 homes and probably over 1,000 barns, outbuildings, more than 1,000. We have a lot of damage.
Is there any estimate, or do you have an idea of when y'all would know a financial number of the damage?
It's going to be a while yet before we get an estimate on that, but I know it's running in excess of $50 million right now. As I say, FEMA's on the ground now looking at our damage. They're doing a big assessment today, but it's going to be a while before we can find out the dollar value, but it's going to be tremendous.
So as we wrap up our conversation here together, you know, it's hard to speak to every single individual that,
Yes.
that was affected by this. But if you had the opportunity to, if, you know, depending on who this broadcast reaches, I mean, what would you have to say to somebody that's been touched by this?
Yeah. Well, just remain strong. We're proud to say we have a slogan that Pulaski, you know, is proud, and we're very strong people. Just stay calm, and we'll work through it. Right now, our citizens are very confident that we're going to make it. Our big problem right now is going to be debris cleanup. We have it all over. We've just opened the roads and pushed it back, and we're going to go around next. Our county crews will be cleaning up sites, which is going to be a long process, but citizens will be patient with us. We'll get cleaned up. They'll recover very nicely. So Pulaski is a very strong community. Our Somerset area, we're very strong people, and we're just blessed with great responders that came to this storm event. We just couldn't be more proud. We're just very lucky that we didn't have more fatalities than what we had.